What's up, guys? So today I have a really long overdue book haul, and I wanted to get this book haul knocked out before the holidays because depending on what I get for the holidays, I'm probably going to be getting a lot of books, so I didn't want this book haul to end up being like 23,000 years long. So I have these books that I've gotten over the last few months. I recently made a trip to Barnes & Noble because you got to do that. I got some books which I'm going to show you. First two books I have is Quidditch Through the Ages by Kennilworthy Wisp and Tales of Beedle the Bard by Professor Albus Dumbledore? I don't really know how to explain these books, but they're part of the Harry Potter universe. Obviously, they're written by J.K. Rowling. They're not really written by Kennilworthy Wisp, and unless that's a real person, which in that case, that's awesome. Cool name, dude. Can I have it? But these books are gorgeous, which is one of the main reasons that I bought them. They're like a canvas material, and they look really old and stuff like that. And that's cool. This is about the history of Quidditch, and this is about Beedle the Bard? I just bought them because they're in the Harry Potter universe, and I'm reading Harry Potter right now. Plus the covers are awesome. I do wish they had deckled edges, though. I feel like that's a missed opportunity. Next up, I have Magnus Chasing the Gods of Asgard, Book 2, The Hammer of Thor. Now, I have read the first book in this series, and I promised to review it, but I never did. Sorry about that. But I wasn't a huge fan of it. I feel like it was a lot of the same that we've had with both the Kane Chronicles and Percy Jackson / Heroes of Olympus. So I'm not 100% sure how I feel about this series. I know I bought it, so I'm definitely going to read it. And something I want to do is reread The Sword of Summer. Because thinking back on it, there was a lot of stuff that I really liked about that book, but there were also a lot of things that I felt were holding it back from being awesome. So I'm definitely going to reread Sword of Summer before I read this book, but I'm pretty excited about reading it. I'm not rushing to read it or anything, but I'm sure I will pretty soon. And I'll probably review them, but don't hold me to that because I probably won't. Next, I have something I'm really excited about, and that is the Reckoners trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. And that includes the first book, which is Steelheart, the second book, which is Firefight, and the third book, which is Calamity. Now, if you watched my video, 5 authors that I really want to read, you would know that I've been wanting to read Brandon Sanderson for a really long time, and this is kind of his YA trilogy. It's about people who get superpowers, but instead of becoming superheroes, they become supervillains. And so our main character joins a group called the Reckoners, which are basically people trying to kill the supervillains, I'm pretty sure. So that's kind of awesome. And these books aren't very long, and they're supposedly really fast-paced, and so I feel like I just want to take like 2 or 3 weeks and just read these books because they look awesome. The next book that I have, you guys all know that I have it because I dedicated an entire video to it, and that is Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas, which may or may not be signed. It's not a big deal. You can see that, right? It's nothing. This is the 5th book in the Throne of Glass series. Now, this book has a bookmark in it. And let's see what page I got to. I got to page 390, and this book's like almost 700 pages long, so I got a good bit of the way through this book. And I put it down. Before I put this book down, I'd been reading it for like a month and a half. And I would go like 2-week intervals without reading any of it, and then I'd pop in, read like a chapter of it, and put it down for another like 4 days, pick it up. And it was just really an unhealthy habit to do that. And so I ended up putting it down and picking up Harry Potter, and look where I am now. For me, I would have to read this book really consistently because I obviously hit a reading slump about halfway through what I've read, and so I wasn't really feeling it. But my opinion is what seems to be pretty similar to other people's opinions that I've heard, and that is this is probably my least favorite book in the series. Not that it's bad, but it's so much of what we've already seen, and I feel like it might be getting dragged out for a little bit too long. I don't know if 6 books was necessary for this series, but from what I read, I really enjoyed parts of it, and there were other parts of it where I felt like it was dragging, and I was like, okay, can we progress the story a little bit more? It's gotten to the point where we're so far into this story, and there are so many characters at this point. There's so many points of views that it's kind of getting a little bit cluttered, and it's hard to remember everybody's motivations, and it's hard to smoothly remember how the storyline is going because we've had so much happen in this series. But the cover's awesome, so that's the thing. And I will finish this book. I'm going to pick it up, start from the beginning, even though that's hard to say since I got like 400 pages in. But I want to start from the beginning and read the entire thing through without being in a reading slump. And I will review this book and let you guys know my thoughts, because I am interested to see where this series goes. I still love this series. Queen of Shadows, as you guys know, is one of my favorite books of all time, only replaced by Harry Potter, and it's a great series. First book I got, I am super excited about, and that is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. This is another author who is in my video, authors who I really want to read, and man, this book looks awesome. This is the first book and what I believe is going to be a duology. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Apparently a lot of the people in this city are being turned into monsters, and we follow two main characters, Kate and August. Kate wants to be like her father and I think destroy the monsters, and August wants to be a human, but he's a monster who takes people's souls by playing music. That's awesome. That's all I really know. I probably messed up a few of those plot points, but this book looks awesome and I cannot wait to read it. Now I have two books that I'm also really excited about, and that is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien and The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien. Now most of you guys probably know what The Hobbit is. This was obviously made into 3 movies by Peter Jackson, and it comes before the Lord of the Rings trilogy. This book follows a hobbit, Bilbo Baggins, who lives in the Shire, and he suddenly gets swept up in this adventure by 13 dwarves and a wizard named Gandalf, and they go on this crazy adventure, and that is The Hobbit. As the movies were coming out, I borrowed a copy of this book from my cousins, and I read up until when the first movie ends, and then for some dumb reason I wanted to follow the movies and then read the book after I finished the movies, and I never did that. So I want to read this book because even though I'm not an enormous fan of the movies, they pale in comparison compared to the Lord of the Rings movies, in my opinion. It still is a great story, and it's a classic, and I really do want to read this book. And the Silmarillion, if you did not know, is pretty much the Bible of the Lord of the Rings saga and Middle-earth, which is where these books take place. The history, and it's so dense that I can guarantee you I will not be reading this for at least a few more years, just so I can be able to comprehend it all, because there are crazy names and crazy places. I guarantee you if you gave a child this book and like let them read it, they would totally believe that this is how the world is, because it's such a dense and deep book with so much detail. Next, I have another book that, surprisingly enough, I'm super excited for, and that is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Now, I heard of this book through Jesse the Reader because it's one of his favorite books, and he says that this book made him cry, and it's just a beautiful book. And let me tell you, on the shelves they had the original cover of A Monster Calls, and I was like, I really want it, but it's in paperback. And then they had this edition, which is obviously hardcover, and this cover is from the movie, which is coming out in January. Now, normally I'm not a person who likes movie tie-in editions of books. I do not like the covers normally, because it just makes me feel like the original text has been changed, even though it probably has not been. I picked up the original cover in paperback and was walking, and I turned around because this cover is just so beautiful, and I was like, even though it's a movie tie-in edition, it's too beautiful for me to not leave with it. And so I bought this, no regrets. This is a beautiful cover. Now, I don't really know what this book's about, and I don't want to try and give you the synopsis that I think I know, because I would probably ruin it, and it probably will not make sense. So I'll just say I'm really excited to read this book. Now, I have one more book that I bought in Barnes & Noble, and it has been on my shelf this entire video, because I've wanted to see if you guys would pick up on it. Probably not, but I got it. And I'm going to step away, and I want you guys to look at the shelves for just a few seconds and tell me if you see it. See it yet? No? Well, let me show it to you then. Guys, look. I got it, guys. I got it. It was at the Barnes & Noble. I saw the Gone series on the shelf, and I was like, there's no way Hunger's here. There's no way it's here. I'm pretty sure this is it. Now, for those of you who do not know why I'm excited for this, you will have to refer to many more book hauls to get the entire story, because I don't want to spend that much time on this because this video is already really long. Basically, I've been trying to get this book in this cover for about 1.5 to 2 years now, and I finally succeeded, which means I also now own 3 copies of this book. So I have this copy, which is the original cover, and it's kind of messed up, and I have this book, which is the exact same book but in better condition. So I'm not going to throw this because it's in really good condition and there's no reason to ruin this. So this is the original cover of this book. This is the new cover. I've been having this on my shelf for about a year now. Guys, it was about freaking time. I just want you guys to see this. Let me change the camera angle a little bit. You guys need to watch this. You ready? I'm doing it, guys. It's on there. It's on there, guys. It's on there. So that is it for my pre-holiday book haul. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys the next time that I see you. Caw-caw!